We want 3 picks. We want pick swaps. These are the kinds of things that I think maybe would interest the Brooklyn Nets, Skip, if they do not want to go rock bottom. They want assets. They want guys that say, look, we want at least 1 star. And Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins did make an all-star team last year, Skip. So that could be something that they could possibly swing. So for me, look, and I know there's other, it seems to me that Phoenix says, nah, we'll give you KD, but we won't Book. Well, that defeats the purpose of you trading for Kevin Durant if you got to give up Book. Miami, well, we'll give you, we'll trade your KD, but we won't Bam out of our. Well, that defeats the purpose because you want a big 3. You want Bam, you want Jimmy Butler, you want Kevin Durant. So for me, Skip, if you want pieces, young, talented pieces, and draft picks, it seems to me the only viable option for Kevin Durant, if he wants to go and win immediately, would be the Golden State Warriors because they have picks and they have young assets that would appease the Brooklyn Nets. So for me, and plus he's already played with those guys. And then remember, Skip, the Nets gave up their pick to get James when they got Ben Simmons. So they gave up a lot. So they need to replenish their coffers, and Kevin Durant could definitely help them do that while getting young assets. So for me, knowing the Kevin Durant I've seen over the last 5 years, the Warriors. Go be an Eddie Kane in the 5 heartbeats. Yeah, he needed to come. I feel like going home.
He left home because he didn't enjoy playing with Steph Curry because, as you pointed out 10,000 times on this show, he knew in his heart of hearts, because he wasn't homegrown like Steph, he was never going to eclipse Steph in the minds and hearts of Golden State Warrior fans. Am I right about that?
Right.
There is no way Kevin Durant is going back to Golden State. I will bet you 10 cases right now he doesn't go back to Golden State. You don't believe that. You're just trying to reinforce your theory that he runs. He took on LeBron in his house, and he just baked him twice in a row in Game 3s in LeBron's castle in Cleveland. Kevin Durant took the freaking game over twice. I was shocked. I didn't think I'd ever see that from Kevin Durant, and those were the 2 games. Games 3, in those 2 finals, when I said, that is easily the best player on the planet. Remember him shooting the shot right in LeBron's face? And wait a second, he wins MVP and MVP, a back-to-back finals, and they're all saying, here's Draymond Green saying, there's no way we're going to win without him. And you're saying this hurts his... What are you talking about? Wherever he goes, he could say, I think I'll go save... How about Chris Paul's legacy? How about
he save his own legacy by winning something without a historically great team? Why couldn't he beat LeBron in OKC? If he's what you said, the best player on the planet, why couldn't he do it there? Why couldn't he do it in Brooklyn?
It's a simple answer. He couldn't do it in Oklahoma City because of exactly your problem right here, right now. What did you see right before your very eyes last year with your L.A. Lakers?
You know what happened? I'm going to give you that.
It's Russell Westbrook's
I'm going to give you that. You know what, Skip? I'm going to give you that. It was Russ's fault. I'm going to blame Russ for the 9 years Kevin Durant. What happened in Brooklyn? Now, I need you to explain, why can't he save his own legacy? Why you saying he saved Steph's legacy? He saved his own legacy.
This is very simple. So he goes up against what's soon to be the NBA champion in the Milwaukee Bucks. This is 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And what happens? All of a sudden, Kyrie is hurt. He's always hurt. There's always something wrong with Kyrie. So he's barely available for the first of that series, and then he's gone. And James Harden, you want to talk about shell of self? He's dragging his hamstring. He's always got a pulled hamstring. Maybe it was a pulled ego. I don't know, but it was pulled something because he was a disaster in those, especially in games 5, 6, and 7. He was a liability on defense and on offense, was James Harden. You came in here and sat in that very seat and said, it's Kevin Durant against the world. It's Kevin Durant or bust. And what did he do? He makes a shot of shots. He makes the greatest clutch shot we've seen in several years in NBA playoff games with his little toenail on the line, or we're having a different conversation because Kevin Durant has won a ring in Brooklyn because they were going to go beat Phoenix because they were better than Phoenix.
Skip, you can't say, Skip, that's like a field goal kicker making a field goal to get it into overtime, and then they lose the game. You've accomplished nothing. Kevin Durant accomplished nothing by hitting that shot.
He was doing it all by himself.
But you never did that for LeBron. When when LeBron was doing it by himself, you said if he's the best player, he has to deliver. You don't have the same energy for Kevin Durant that you have for LeBron. And I need you to tell me why. He keeps running. He's running again. He's 100 miles and running, off and running again.
Running to another challenge.
Oh, no, he wasn't. He didn't finish that
Running
one.
to another. Well, wait a second. Who were the Brooklyn Nets before Kyrie said, hey, Kevin, let's go there. Let's not
They're
go
the
to
same
the
Brooklyn
Nets.
Nets.
Let's go to the
What did they
Nets.
do, Skip?
What did they have?
Skip,
They have
Kevin
nothing.
Durant.
So what happened this year to the Nets? Even you would agree. Kyrie Irving ripped them apart from inside out. He ripped them apart because he would not get vaccinated. And even Kevin Durant finally said, you know what? I'm out.
Hold on.
I vote no on Kyrie. They sent him home
And then,
until they lost 10 or 11 games in a row at one point in February. And finally, in March, they finally said, you know what? I think we got to ask him back. So they asked him back part-time. They lost all their unity. They lost all loyalty to each other. It was a wreck of a basketball team. And to me, what's being said right now that nobody seems to be jumping on, I'm pretty sure that Kyrie and Kevin have, quote-unquote, broken up. I don't think they're besties anymore because I think Kevin Durant has had enough of Kyrie Irving.
Well, Skip, and I've said this on several occasions. I've said that it's really hard if the two best players are not equally as invested in the same goal. Kyrie, he said basketball wasn't important. He was unwilling to get the vaccine.
But that's not the same Kyrie mentality that Kevin chose going back 3 years ago.
Man, you know your best friend. I don't know who your best friend is, but you know. Just because you got a best friend, that don't mean you want to go in business with him. That doesn't mean you want to try to accomplish something with them because you're the best friend, because you know them. You know, I know my best friend. Best friend is one thing. Do I want to start a business with all my best friends? Hell no. Because they're not as invested in that situation as I am. Okay. But Kevin Durant, Skip, Kevin Durant is the kid that he wants to desert before he finishes the meal. Finish the job in Brooklyn and then take your butt off.
Well, if Kyrie wants out, is Kevin going to go it alone in Brooklyn?
Whoa. Well, LeBron did it. LeBron, when Kyrie wanted to trade him from Cleveland, LeBron James did not say, Dan Gilbert, I want out too. He stuck it out and went to the NBA Finals, and you killed him. It was 1-on-5, but that's not what you said. All you did was talk about Kevin Durant did a number on LeBron, even though he had Steph, and they won the title this year without Kevin Durant, which makes it, he feeling some type of way. I've been telling you, he going to feel some type of way, and Steph is on his tour. Steph is the host of the ESPYs. Steph is doing a tour around the world. Look at me. I'm king of the world. And what can Kevin Durant do? Weep. Ain't gonna talk about y'all know who I am. I'm Kevin bleeping Durant.
Well, wait a second. The guy who's weeping is the guy who's completely out of sight, out of mind. It's LeBron James, whose team went 33-49. How can you be the best player on the planet?
This is not about LeBron.
Oh, yes, it is. That's all it's about. You keep bringing up LeBron. Why don't you do LeBron?
I got him on the run, y'all. I got him on the run.
No,
I got him on the run.
Yeah, I got you on the run.
Me and Steph Curry got you on the run.
Here is Kevin Durant wanting to run to the next huge challenge. Maybe wait a second. I think I'll go win a ring for Chris Paul. He needs one late in his career.
What for Brooklyn? The people in Brooklyn want a championship. Why you want to win something for Phoenix when you wouldn't do it for Brooklyn? OKC wanted a championship. You went and jumped on a team that was already established, and you're trying to do it again.
A team that had blown an all-time bad 3-1 lead. A team that choked its guts out. A superstar, quote-unquote superstar, a two-time MVP who completely fell apart, melted down almost as badly as LeBron did in the 2011 finals against Dallas in games 5, 6, and 7. I dare anybody out there to go look at Steph's stats in those 3 games, because they are all-time horrendous, especially in the fourth quarters of those 3 games. He was at his worst in Game 7 at home. He had 2 of the last 3 in his house, and he failed so miserably, he crawled across country and said, here, get in. You drive my Ferrari because I just need to go along with the ride.
Can I ask you a question? If you don't mind me asking, in the 2016 finals, how did the hell Steph Curry get there when he was down 3-1 to Kevin Durant? And I dare anybody, go look at games 5, 6, and 7 and look at Kevin Durant's shooting stats. 10 of 31, 12 of 31. Why you bumping them?
Yeah, big asterisk on those
nice
games. Big asterisk. had to play with, forced to play with Russell Westbrook.
The same Russell Westbrook that had to get that 3-1 lead.
What did I report when Kevin left Russ? And everybody said, how could he leave Russ? I said, and I had it on a very reliable source, that Kevin Durant had decided after 9 years in Oklahoma City, you cannot win a championship with that man, Russell Westbrook, as your primary decision maker. I think you got to see that up close and personal during 33 and 49.
I think a lot of teams are starting to see, too. You can't win a championship with Kevin Durant unless he got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond. I think a lot of teams are starting to see that, too.